Welcome back to part 2, Is Masculinity Dead? We've defined masculinity. Now let's find out what happens when that masculinity collides with culture, expectations, and the pressures facing men today. Let's get back into the lounge.
And I thought he was instantly just going to say no, but he thought about it. He was like, yeah. And it took him like 3 blocks because it was quiet. And me and my brother like, he might say, yeah, bro. Like, so, and he said, all right, but if y'all go over the board with it, we gonna dial this shit back, right? Man, we was in the car, man. This shit be fucked up. We was in the car, and it was so crazy because for him, he wanted to say something, but he was laughing so hard.
Yeah, y'all let your hair down,
right? And he was like, "Well, y'all been," man, and it was that level of. All right, it was a friend type thing, but if it got too far, all right, now that's
your father.
Yeah, right. So that's what I'm like, and those are some of the memories. Like I'm saying, this is, man, I had to be 9.
Yeah.
And this is the things that we still remember to this day, because of those type of those type of interactions. Where I believe that there's a level of camaraderie, because it's stuff that I've told me and my brother have had conversations. It's stuff that I've just told my brother, or I've just told my mom that I didn't want to tell my dad, because I'm like, I know that if I tell him this, I know he's not going to come at it at a certain way. He's going to be like, boy, what the hell was wrong with you?
Yeah. See, but it's good for all kids to have that balance, though.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right.
And
see, but you kind of made me think about when I was deep sea fishing with my sons.
Okay.
I was on a boat with them, and speaking of that cussing thing, I'm over here fishing off the rail, and all of a sudden I hear them cussing, and I turn around and look.
And it was them?
Yeah.
Or did you recognize their voice?
Oh, I recognize their voice. I recognize their voice in the crowd. So
Right.
it's all good. So I'm like, I said, okay, cool. I just started fishing.
Yeah.
It made me think about that. And I was like, and then all of a sudden, just like your dad said, this ain't gonna get out of control.
Right.
Because I don't want you to disrespect me. Not they cussing at me.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Don't let this get out of control.
Right.
So then they got that
That
look.
you feel this is comfortable on a regular.
That,
yeah.
that,
Don't get
as
happy.
well,
Right.
that, and also this moment.
Right.
So but I get where you're coming from, because
Yeah.
I experienced that with my sons personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel you on that one, man.
Right.
But with that said, these are masculine moments.
Yeah.
So but it didn't sound like it was toxic, because it built what? Energy with you on how you are with your dad.
Yeah.
And it built who
A
you are as a
bond.
person.
A bond.
And you talked about your dad. When it came down to your dad, obviously you said you knew your grandfather on his side,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't have his dad, right?
Right.
So he was a fatherless father. What was he like being a fatherless father as far as masculinity?
Oh, my dad, look, if my dad gonna do anything for good or ill, it's gonna be masculine.
Okay.
So that's just a caveat on it, period. But again, my dad's a good man. Dad's not a perfect man.
Yeah.
And through the being able to look back through the course of history, I can see areas where he effed up. But my dad never not came home. My dad never gambled away the lights and the gas money.
Yeah.
And rent and mortgages always got knocked out. And again, my dad never came home sloppy drunk.
Okay.
My dad just wasn't that type of dude.
Okay.
He carried himself with respect. Yeah, and he always just been my dad. Man, my dad was like this weird mix, this weird fusion of James Evans and Bill Cosby.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We just had that show.
Yeah, he was just, and I mean, like all my friends gravitated to my dad because he didn't have that.
Okay. Yeah.
He didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a mixed area, so I had a lot of Caucasian friends.
Okay. So
but it didn't matter. I mean, I had a friend, and again, this is an example of masculinity and the proper application of it to me.
Mm-hmm.
My friend lived in a different area, and his mom was a single mom, but she had a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And in that crib, he would live there, but he wasn't no good dude.
Mm-hmm.
He always run his mouth, and he get heavy-handed with her and try to get heavy-handed with them.
Okay.
And one day he showed up at my doorstep, like he wanted to hang out, but I could tell something was wrong with him.
Okay.
So my mom got it out of him. My dad then came home at that point, and he talked about that the dude was there drunk, and he put his hands on his mom, and he tried to get in the way, and he put his hands on him.
Mm.
He got in the line of fire.
My dad put cuz in the car and put him in. Went, came back by himself. But my boy said that dude didn't expect no big black man to come walking up in the house.
Right.
And his mom appreciated it because he told the dude, hey man, don't put your hands on him and don't put your hands on her.
Ever again.
And said, this is my son's best friend. So he's like my son. So put your hands on him. I'm coming to see.
We're gonna have problems.
He didn't have to do that.
Right.
There was nothing compelling him or pushing him to do that.
Right.
But he did that, and he gave him an example of what I'm gonna just say what black manhood is. I'm sure there's tons of white men that would have done that, but I can only see it from my eye.
Right. See, that's the thing about masculinity and that toxic masculinity. He said that to me just doesn't mix, man. I never liked those two terms.
I get so fed up of hearing that.
Oxymoronic.
You know, they put it out there because of what you said about these young guys coming up, 18, 19-year-olds who are boys in men's bodies and stuff like that. That's where the stuff is coming from.
I think toxic masculinity, or their definition of it, is when the dudes, these kids are trying, like Ray was saying about the dudes who are in the boys that's in these men's body are trying to pretend like they're men, and they take that and they found a way to fuse that because they see a man and just assume he's masculine.
Right.
So they took that term just like they got that term out here, fuck boy. Like these wild terms for men, and they will say, oh, he's a man, he has to be masculine. That's not the case. So if he does some what they call sassy shit, then it's like, oh, he's toxic he has toxic masculinity. So which sassy and masculine cannot coexist in the same universe.
Exactly.
Because it just doesn't.
Exactly.
And this is not a shot to anyone in the alphabet community, but I'm just saying it in a sense of there are some masculine people who resides under some of those alphabets.
That's true.
But the masculine that I seen never resided under none of those alphabets.
Right.
So there maybe, for a lack of not being ignorant to the facts, but there are levels to what I would consider masculine, but what they consider as these kids who are pretending to be masculine, that's not even on my radar.
Yeah, but see, I can appreciate something Ray said earlier that I think fits better than toxic. He said undisciplined.
Yeah.
You know, just like how when I hear women say I don't need a man, that's some BS to me. And I'm trying not to cuss them on platform. I'd rather hear you say I don't want a man compared to need a man. I'd rather hear somebody say undisciplined instead of toxic.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're getting the same results on what you're feeling, but use the words correctly.
But that's just trying to be precise. Because if you really wanna start some trouble, I'm gonna get you canceled right now.
Right.
Because he was just talking about the alphabet community and no diss against them. But if you notice something, look at studs.
Oh, yeah.
But no, when women are trying to portray masculinity, and I'm saying the studs because it's kind of weird because if you don't hear anything from trans men.
Yeah.
You can hear a mouse piss on cotton from them because I think they understand the assignment better than studs do.
Right.
But studs, when they take on their persona, they take on a persona of every characteristic that's deemed toxic by women as that men supposedly portray.
Okay, so
there's no stud that comes off like us.
Okay.
They come off like what they believe the videos or whatever the stereotype tells them that dudes that dudes are. They portray that, but they don't move like us.
Yeah, they put up the front.
Right.
Yeah.
So that being the case, when we talk about toxic masculinity, what or who is attempting to weaken masculinity? What or who is attempting to weaken masculinity?
Independent women.
America.
Is that considered the modern woman?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not gonna say the modern woman, because there are modern women who I wouldn't say are looking to weaken masculine men. I think the independent woman goes back to what you were saying as far as like the woman that says, I don't need a man.
Yeah.
And those women, and again, I'm not speaking to absolute, I'm not speaking to everybody, I'm just saying there are a select few. Yeah. So there's someone in our group.
Yo, I'm gonna send it to him too.
Oh yeah, we want you guys to send this everywhere.
All right. So there's somebody in our Speaking Truth group who I believe every day wakes up to say, I'm gonna find a way to kill masculinity today.
Okay.
And
because I hate it.
And the thing is, it's the most illogical, sporadic, chaotic conversations, and I don't even mean aggressive, but it's just it's random words thrown together, and they will type it and put it down like I've done the best. I've shown motherfuckers today, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
I believe if you present anything in any way, because there are women. Let me do this here. There are women who can actually that are modern, or even some that are independent, where you can actually have a conversation with, and y'all can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
There are those who are independent that says no matter what the hell you say, I don't give a fuck about your facts. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm
right because y'all have done so much to us, and anything that's masculine that can come into my world, I disagree with it because there's no room for masculinity here.
Oh, the True Brothers know something very well.
Yeah, something like that.
Exactly.
Now,
so like you say, we ain't throwing out no names, but we all know.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, look, we all having this conversation, no phone in hand needed.
That's
so
right.
to type nothing in and just to verify we saying this correct.
That's right.
But I would say this to say, if we're having a conversation about who's actually killing it, I believe that the women that's saying that they don't need a man is killing it. I've never been to a point. I may have been upset with women. Yeah. I may have thought women are crazy. Yeah. I may have thought women are like, all type of things about them. Yeah. I've never said I don't need a woman.
Exactly.
Because I know that there has to be a counterbalance to it.
I don't think a man has ever said that across.
Oh, there's been that say it.
I'm just saying
they say it. that could be, but no, there's dudes that say it, but again, part of this
real quick, the men that say that, I'm gonna be honest. There are those are the types that believe that they're like pimps. Pimps are the ones that say, I don't need a woman. Yeah. Women make things fun. Like those are the dudes who like that era of like I'll give you a prime example, right? That era of the Kendra and the Family Soul and all that neo soul music, that era, that late 90s, early 2000 era of music, when there was a glow towards that black love or just love in general. Yeah. It was a good time to actually know that, hey man, I need you and you need me. Okay. Right? Okay. But if you notice, just walk with me for a second. If you notice, as the music started to turn and it was more sex independent and all of these things where you getting the fuck me and over. Girl, go out there and shake your ass. Girl, do this and do that. Yeah. And the women who were supposed to look at that and say, girl, we didn't have that. Right. When the older examples started to gravitate towards that, and then now they're pulling the kids that's already into it, and then you got the ones that's too old to like it going into it. Wow. Now you're getting now the men who are sitting here, again, I'm not saying that there's no Chief Keefs and all. I'm not saying that those don't exist either. But the men who's actually out here looking for that is now they're saying the image is I have to pick from one of these. And the fact that we're saying that we never said we don't want a woman. We're saying that I just don't want those women. Yeah. Right. And now it's hard, and I'm not saying that they don't exist, please understand that. But it's hard when it feels like all you see is that. Right.
And that's a great point you're making about those women.
Right.
But see, when women say I don't need a man, they're talking about men, not just those.
Yes, because they speak in absolutes.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'd rather have her say to me, hey, I don't want a man compared to I don't need. Right. Because as low as this roof is, I'm straight. I need a man to go up there. I'm not going up there.
Right.
Yeah. Ray always posts this clip about about women. Man, like one woman was putting up a damn cabinet and fell, bust her shit in.
That too.
They be putting up like Ray was like, yep, and you still don't think you need a man.
My point exactly.
But again, now he's not saying that women aren't capable of being carpenters or mechanics or nothing. He's just saying, hey, these are obviously, baby, you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And there's probably a man who could assist you.
And everyone needs help. No one is without help. Yes. Can a woman work on a car? Yes.
Absolutely.
One of our favorite guests and someone real close to us, she's a model. She's also a mechanic. Mm-hmm. She know more about cars than I know. Mm-hmm. And I have to respect that.
And you a car enthusiast.
And I'm a car enthusiast, right. Yeah. But I would never, just because I see her and she's a woman, instantly think she don't know what she's doing about cars.
Exactly.
I'm gonna look for context clues. Is your tires bald?
Did you come up
Is it filthy?
With a tub of vegetable oil?
Right. Like, I need oil. Right. Right. If I open up your hood and there's damn mice in it, you're telling those are context clues.
Exactly.
If I come by and your roof is messed up. Yeah, what do you need some help with that?
Right.
I can help you out. I can guide you, help you find some people to fix your roof.
That's right.
But you may not want to go up there with some damn shingles and tar playing around because you don't need no man.
But see, there are women who will actually look at you for saying that you would rather, like, I can get you somebody to do it, and say, well, if you can't do it yourself, you're not a man.
Right.
And that's the shit that irritates me the most. Right. I'm like, you telling me I gotta know how to do everything under the sun. If I can't change a transmission, but I can get somebody to change a transmission for you, I'm not a man because I don't do it myself.
But that's being resourceful.
Yeah, but that's why men work hard. We work hard so we can gain enough money. I know how to change the transmission and brakes. I don't have to do that no more.
Exactly.
I can pay someone to do it for me. Right. And I'm not getting on. I can get on the roof. Yeah. Why would I get on the roof when I can pay somebody to get on the roof?
Exactly.
So, but yet they want rich dudes, or they want queens. But okay, well then you think the king's getting on top of the castle?
No, he's not. No, he's not.
So is society weakening men? Or are men surrendering their discipline?
No, men
I think men are choosing to just say, you can have it.
Yep.
And they're backing off. Like, I'm not going to fight you, baby. If you, men used, and this is why women say, man, they don't even fight no more. Because, like, what am I fighting for?
Right.
You're never going to adapt to the way that I'm not going to change the feminine and become more of what society says with men, because society is not valuing black men already. Right. So why would I fall into that trap that you want me to fall into? Why do I have to? Your version of manhood is just a dude go to work, give you all his money, and take you on trips every day. That's not manhood.
That's right.
That's what society is telling you what men should do. You are a woman who will come on your birthday, bring 6 of your friends with you, and you expect your dude you're dating, not even married to pay for everybody on your.
Right.
I'm not doing that. It doesn't make me broke. Right. It makes me smart, because I'm like, why the hell would you do that when I'm here for you? And if these are your independent women friends, why the hell they can't pay for themselves then?
Right.
So again, I'm not, and the men that are saying, if that's what you want, maybe I'm done. I don't have to do this.
Right. Exactly.
And more men are
choosing. Some simps out there doing that stuff.
Right. But it's always, look, it's a gigantic population. There's always going to be somebody in that category.
Right.
And God bless them.
Right.
Have at these.
Yeah, do you?
But men learn early, never argue with a fool, because the people that's watching can't tell who's who.
Who's the difference?
So why am I going to argue with you? Again, I have my own house. I have my own cars. Mm-hmm. I take care of myself. Mm-hmm. So you sitting in your house giving me your opinion on me, and why do I care?
Right.
That's your house. You are entitled to your opinion.
Right.
I'm going to leave you in your house to have your opinion.
Right.
Good day, man. Why do I need to why do I have to give you or share with you what I have? Just like you don't have to share with me what you have. Yeah. But why do I have to bring you into my world if you offer nothing to me? Again, people always say, what do you bring? Why do men always ask, what do you bring to the table?
Right.
It's because the concept of when men, there used to be a time, I think I was talking to bro about this a minute ago. There used to be a time where men had no problem taking women on dates like that and just not knowing nothing about them, just sending them flowers and doing this and doing that. But when this term, and since they love to use term, when this term transactional relationships came up, that stopped a lot of men saying, "Oh, you just out to get me," and how can you be how can I be a gold digger if you ain't got gold? Well, baby, if you're using me just to feed your kids, that's the same type of terminology. Right. Because I don't have to be the richest dude for you to say, "Oh, well, nah, I don't really like him. I'm just gonna go with him one day because I'm home."
If he has resources, that's still gold.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm sending you $1,000 every weekend just to say I get that. That's not the only version of quote unquote gold digging, because you got GOLD digging and then you got GOAL digging. Right. If your goal is to get something out of me, then you're still gold digging. Right. If your goal is to get $1,000 out of me, then you're still gold digging. Exactly. So I think that.
That's comedian D.Patrick said that.
Comedian D.Patrick.
There you go.
Hey, let's take this moment right here for
y'all need to think on that.
Let's take a moment for a shameless plug. Tell us about your Truth Brothers and Speak the Truth.
I mean, right now what we've done is we've taken the Truth Brother label and we've now launched it into a production company. So right now we're producing comedy shows, like the one you guys just came to. That was a Truth Brother production.
It was a great show.
And we got another one coming up September 12th.
How can someone out of Chicago take advantage of it?
As the comedy shows, unfortunately, right now we haven't got to a city near you yet. So, but we're working on that.
Just to kind of piggyback off what he's saying here, this is going to be on the radio, iHeart, Pandora, all over the place. So they're going to hear this. So, is it Facebook? Can they tag you guys on Facebook or something like that?
Well, you can always go to Speak Your Truth.
Okay.
We post everything
on Facebook.
On Facebook.
That's where you can get it, guys.
On IG, we have Speak Your Truth page, and also.
And truth is spelled TRUF.
Yeah. And
we'll have that in the description.
Yeah, and also we got like I said, the Speak Your Truth, the panel show is everything. I think it's something that a lot of times people haven't seen yet. The way we do the panel show. I think it's something new. It's exciting. It's fun. It's interactive. It's way more interactive than most panel shows are, because not only does the guest get to say something, but not only does the person who has a question get to say something, the guests are allowed to respond as well.
Okay. So when you get a chance on Facebook, follow, tag, Speak Your Truth.
Yep.
TRUF.
TRUF. So when you hear people say masculinity is dead or dying, what evidence are you looking for to back that up? What evidence are you looking for when you hear people say that?
When I hear them say it, I want them to show me a masculine person to prove it. Show me someone who has that. Like, don't show me. God, I gotta do this. Don't show me someone in that community and say, "See, masculinity's dying." Don't show me a bum and say, "See, masculinity's dying."
Right.
Show me an example of a person, because for every person in that alphabet, for every person that is a bum, I can show you 4 men that I can prove that masculinity is not dying.
Right.
So it's now the concept, not the concept, but when you say it's dying, is because men are choosing to exercise their right to be disciplined and say, I don't need this.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like they want to go back into, I think women want to go back to the point where when there used to be a time where no matter what, men just took it.
Right.
Like they just took whatever happened, the slapping on the faces and all this, like men just took it. But here's the problem. We're kind of going circle again, because we and him joke about this a lot where we say this thing, well, I'll fix that. It was a scene, what was it, Reagan, right?
Yeah.
There was a scene in that movie where Reagan was acting and told this woman, hey man, why don't you go ahead and go downstairs, the men's is talking. And she said, I don't want to go. And Reagan said, well, we'll fix that. Got up, slapped the shit. Oh, you said go away. Gotcha. Okay, let me go and get out the room. Now,
no one's advocating.
Nobody's advocating that at all.
Domestic
because
here in the
we don't do that. And then there was a time where we skipped that, and now it was like, I think the 90s or something, like where men were just like, man, women would, like, even in the movies, the Wait and Exhales and all them movies, girl, women will bow, man, I'm gonna just get out of here. This is enough for me, and we'll leave. Yeah. And now you see the resurface of, hey man, I'm not gonna keep letting you do this, because to be fair, how many videos have we seen where women are boom, 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 tagging a dude, and he's standing there, and everybody's hey, but the minute he get ready to hulk up, they hey sir, you are totally wrong. How could you ever? I remember it was one video.
You could have took a couple of more of them slaps.
Right. It was one video real quick where it was this student. And the one, he's back, hey man, gone. He's
I remember high school.
Yeah.
High school, yeah.
And she hit him, and I'm not, it was a guy, a friend of mine named, I ain't gonna say his name, but he was like, man, you gotta take them hits. Yeah. Some of these women can throw blows, man.
That's true.
Like Clarissa Shields, I'm not gonna let Clarissa Shields hit me. And I box. I'm not gonna let her hit me though. Like I'm not saying there's a good chance it might put me on my ass. I was gonna say she won't put
me on my ass.
But you know, so when I say that, it's like you can't sit up here and say, man, those love. No, these women can hit.
Bro. Yeah, love taps don't.
Yeah, they ain't full of love no more.
Exactly. But that's still a full-grown adult hitting.
And then when he reached back to flex her over that desk, he didn't punch her. He just, hey, let me contain you in the safest way possible.
Right.
And then he did it just to say, don't keep hitting me. And now everybody rushing him like, hey man, how could you have?
Right. But he's protecting himself, and he restrained her.
There was another one where this man had his hand, it was a kid, had his hand back here the whole time. He was like, if you touch me, I'm slapping the shit out you. Yeah. He said that and kept his hand here. Yeah. You can say all this in my face, I don't care. But if you touch me, I'm slapping the shit out. She gave him one of them back taps, and I mean, he came from Alabama. Took her across the face. Her brother or boyfriend got up, tried to jump him, and he two-piece spiced him up real quick. And it's like, oh, why didn't you get your sister a girlfriend when he was doing that? Now, not only did he slap her to sleep, now you got a two-piece spicy on top of you.
Right.
So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, but see, overall, what he's saying right here is that violence is not accepted by any gender.
Not at all.
No,
not
at all. I understand what he's conveying here, that men restrain themselves more than we should sometimes, and then when it gets to a point where it's at breaking point, things happen. Now the man's the bad guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I said, I don't condone violence.
Course.
But I can say where, you know how we got to a point where we were so desensitized to seeing black teenagers being murdered. Yeah. Like it was happening so often, but initially it used to be a shock, like, oh man, you know, Trayvon and all these, but it's like, man, it's another killing day. It's crazy. Yeah. I find myself, I've become desensitized to seeing women getting hit because, and I'm not saying it's healthy or it's right, but it's because I see so much of them just coming so aggressive and doing so much. Yeah. It's like, you're asking for this now. Yeah. Like it used to be levels where, it was cool, but some have crossed a boundary of you really think that you can take this dude and you can't. And again, I'm not condoning it. No. But it never should got to a point where I'm desensitized to seeing a woman get hit. Like it used to make me cringe. Right. But it don't do that no more. And that's weird for me.
And ladies should not let entitlement put them in positions that can get them hurt. You have a responsibility on that end too, to be respectful and don't put yourself in a position where things can go left. Just because you think you know somebody don't mean you really know them. If half of these men that they shame with, oh, he's an incel, oh, he's a simp, oh, he's a loser. If those dudes, you know what losers actually do? They go shoot up malls. They go shoot up parking lots. They shoot up schools. And if you really labeling some cat that, then I'll be more scared of one of them dudes than I would some 350-pound dude.
They reach a breaking point.
And again, I said it in the beginning, an undisciplined man is a dangerous man.
Right.
An emotional man is a dangerous man. Yeah. You keep ushering L's to a dude and you embarrass him. We know a story of a cat who took one of the greatest L's in history. And we were sitting there, we feel for the dude because we like, I don't know how this dude didn't kill her.
Yeah.
How he didn't kill her.
Yeah.
How could you do that to somebody?
So what happened?
I don't want to. just
we talked about that. We talked about embarrassed him when we went for pizza that night.
Oh yeah.
Embarrassed him. Yeah, right. She did something just plain unforgivable to him.
We've talked about that,
and it would have broken any man
destroyed
who loved that woman in 1,000 pieces.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
And you felt that
he didn't kill her,
and she made that calculation that y'all can do this to him and get away with it.
Yeah,
you can't.
Like you should not think like that. And like you guys were saying earlier, when men get around each other, I don't care if it's for a retirement party, Super Bowl party, just playing cards, smoking cigars. Whenever a group of men get around each other, there's always a low-level threat of violence that permeates the air, no matter what, even right now.
Yeah.
And because we all have a healthy respect for one another, that tempers that.
Right.
But have too many of these, and no discipline, and your darker side start coming out, and now all of a sudden I'm remembering that you fucked my prom date back when we were 16. And now I'm all toe up. You know, now you don't know where that's coming from.
Right.
Matter of fact, I had one of my best friends, me and him grew up in high school together. He was like this. And my cousin's like my baby brother. I invited them all by my house for Thanksgiving one day. And these guys haven't seen each other in gotta be 35 years. My boy don't even remember my cousin. But for some reason, my cousin remembered him. And I don't even remember this, but man, he was harboring some type of beef. And it all just came pouring out. And we all like, where is this coming from? Like, we didn't go to, he never took your lunch money. What's going on here? But he had it. And through that undiscipline, it was starting to come out. Now I had to come and reestablish order because it's happening in my domain.
Of course.
But still, just like there's always that in the room. Women have it, but it's not violent because they're used to being passive aggressive to us, so they passive aggressive to each other.
Right.
But you know you can be with a dude, and you only gonna take so many slide comments from some cats, especially some cats you don't really know. Before you like, hey man, who is you talking to?
Yeah, a lot of dudes like to fill you up.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That
size you up.
Right.
Fill you up, you know.
Right.
Just because of how you look or what they think about you.
Yeah. Until you counterbalance that with, hey man, I wouldn't do that again.
That's undisciplined masculinity.
Yeah.
You know, not toxic, undisciplined. You know, goes back into what Jordan Peterson was talking about.
This masculinity is a natural force. It's a force and a power. And any force and power, any power must be mastered and contained and doled out intelligently.
You know what? You know, real quick before you say something, it was something that just dawned on me because I remember it was a question you asked about masculinity. I think masculinity began to start to die when women stop seeing the power in femininity.
Ooh, nice.
So because they think that all power comes from masculinity, and some people lost. We have this running joke where I got these shirts made that we say Claire Huxtable would never, but there was a level of femininity and power that came with Claire.
Oh, she exuded that.
Yeah, it's
also called adulthood.
Yeah,
Claire Huxtable came off like a damn functioning adult,
right?
And it was sexy.
I was going to say,
it was sexy.
It was mature. It was mature.
She was a mother. She was all of the above.
Right. So look at the archetype of the mother in that time, and then look at the archetype of the mother in today's sitcoms. Let's just keep it.
Well, speaking of today's sitcom, recently, I said within the last 20 years, they have made the man out to be a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, that all started with Al Bundy and Homer Simpson. And again, they blew up, and success is always copied.
But see, here's the thing: even when you made it into Al Bundy, and I'll say Al Bundy, it wasn't like some of the sitcoms where the man is the buffoon, but the woman is still, in made to look like a functioning.
She's the
woman.
straight. She's
But
the straight.
even with
Right.
with
The glue.
with the All in the Family and the Bundys.
Yeah.
Peggy wasn't the genius on the show.
No,
But
no.
Al still said
Right.
that level of, hey, don't fuck with me in my house type thing.
Yeah.
But it was, now I'll give the Peter Griffins, yeah. Like,
but Al really wielded no power. And Al is the story of masculinity that peaked too soon. Al was the high school football hero.
Yeah.
He was number one, but when he actually had to deal in the actual world,
Yeah.
he found out
Never grew up.
all the time he was supposed to be developing himself. He was fucking, he was getting all the girls, he was popular, and time crept up. Next thing you know, man, you 25, you're not qualified to do nothing but sell shoes.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably knocked Peggy up on accident.
Yeah, because she was fine as hell.
Yeah, because she was fine as hell.
Yeah,
But you again, it was
Yeah.
you're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to,
Right.
because
Right.
of the society saying men must do this. You're trying to be that. But he's not successful.
There's a lot of victims out there that live
Yeah.
that life.
You know, the last version of that I actually saw that worked, and it's crazy. I was just watching today. Did y'all ever catch the Bel Air series on Peacock?
No, I never saw it.
Uncle Phil on that show was the sheer definition of now, I'm not.
Oh, you talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel Air?
No.
The remake.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Remake is they gave it more of a serious, dramatic feel. The remake is still on Peacock. I recommend anybody, if you got Peacock, go watch that Bel Air series and watch how Uncle Phil ran his house. Again, and even Aunt Viv. She gives me the Claire Huxtable vibe. Uncle Phil was still that moment. He was a dangerous man. The same one we was talking. He was a monster, but it was not a. It was, you don't fuck with him.
Right.
But it was still a level of compassion, that control thing.
Yeah.
Even Jeffrey.
Okay.
Jeffrey was a motherfucker that you did not want to fuck with Jeffrey, but it was a positive representation of men. It literally gave me Cosby Show vibes as the way it portrayed black men. So I say that was the last time I seen it where, because I'm not necessarily, I'm just thinking of a family show where everybody's involved and the father doesn't look like, now again, even in the series, he wasn't perfect. And Claire and that Viv, hey man, yo, fucking up when it comes to Will. Let me tell you who walked the family. And it was like, like I said, I suggested everybody watch it, but that was the last time that I would say I've seen where that representation really made sense.
Yeah, that's a good one, because femininity in its correct form is a temper and a counterbalance to masculinity.
And it's powerful.
Well, you made a good point on saying that when the masculinity started becoming theirs, when femininity came in the way it did.
And it just, they didn't like, I think, and I would love to have a honest woman sit and talk to, so I can say, why don't y'all believe there's power in femininity?
Yeah.
Like, why do
they want to be big?
Well, you know what? Women really don't realize how much influence they have in the relationship.
Yes.
They don't want to.
But, and I tell my girl, I say, you know what? You're the neck that turns the head.
Right.
You know, and that's how much influence a woman has in the relationship.
They don't want to believe in that.
The woman, I'm just saying, I'm not saying this fact. I just, again, disclaimer. Do you believe that the woman, because they want to be the head and have a problem being the neck?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
It's the end of part 2. We've spent a lot of time at what society may be doing to men. In part 3, we turn the mirror around. What are men doing to themselves? What are boys learning from us? And after everything we've discussed, is masculinity really dead?